welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah, here in Eastern Thanalan, I went back to Ul'dah, went through Central Thanalan from here. It's a quick send with Mordi out here. Went to Blackbrush Station because I wanted to get the Ifrit, and from here east to Eastern Thanalan, and it's just a bit north of the entrance. Camp Drybone. Hi, I'm Isenbad. Here to search for missing folk, I take it. Minfilia hasn't word that an adventure fitting your description would be along. She also warned us to be wary of Yamalja. It seems we know who the culprits are at the very least. Now, I bear no official title at this camp, but the people here have come to look at me for leadership. You have my word, I do all I can to help see the victims safely returned. Let's get right to it then. Minfilia's names the Amalja culprit in all this. You do well to investigate them first. Much harm has been levied on these lands by Amalja hands. The flames burn where they might, but their light cannot stay the darkness in all places at all times. There may have been brutal murders of callers of the Church of St. Adama Landama, innocents wishing no more than to pay their respects to the dead. The poor souls deserve a proper burial. I would see the deed done before the mongrels catch their scent. But I know not if the Amalja still linger. Would you secure their remains for me, friend? You find them on the eastern road. 12 willing, you may even come to learn something of what the Amalja seek in this area. There's the overthrown wagon and the corpses. And 3 corpses. It's good to see you returned. Were you able to secure the remains of our fallen? The poor soul appears to have been ravaged by an Amalja before sitting to rot for several turns of the sun. With bodies given back proper to the earth, the souls will find their way across to the other side. You've done a noble deed this day, thank you. Now then, what of the Amalja? Did you see any? Surely such massive monstrosities as they cannot conceal a presence, much less take the quarry unawares. Ah, so there were Amalja remaining after all. I feared as much. Their part in the Lowborn's disappearing is all but confirmed, but I sense there's more to this than meets the eye. The occasional Amalja raiding party would not account for people going missing in these kinds of numbers. The total is too great, the questions too many. It would not surprise me in the least to learn of another hand in this. But whose? Countless travelers pass through Drybone every day, and even if it were among them, how would we best discover who may be implicit in these vanishings? What say you return an eye to the common folk themselves? It may be among them that we find the reasons for these vanishings, 12 forbid it be so. There's a merchant by the name of Angast who was born here in Drybone and grew up in the Golden Bazaar, a rough character, but he knows the people here better than anyone else. I'd wager he's at the inn quaffing away the day's earnings. Here, I'll write a note for you to show him, else he's not like to speak to you. Well, Gods be damned. You're a bloody adventurer who threatened me back in Ulda. Yeah, you're the slimy merchant who threatened that poor woman. What the Seveners do you want with me now? Dear friend, missing people, please help. Yours isn't bird. Folks I want years vary as they come. They turn tail and run if you so much as pass the wind nearby. Played them all for fools and coaxed some hard labor out of them, I did. If anything, they're even more timid than before. What with all the disappearances. You can talk to them yourself if you don't believe me. Please, sir, just leave me be. I have nothing to say but this. Tal take who or whatever's been feeding off us low folk. What do you want from me? I don't know anything, I swear. Please, don't kill me. Just as I told you, wasn't it? The whole lot of them are terrified. There's been talk of folk getting abducted, but if you ask me, they're simply up and moved on to a better place. This place ain't exactly costed a soul, if you know what I'm saying. Welcome back, Rid. Have you learned aught of import? I see. I suppose I should have expected as much from unguest. Well, I never thought occurred to me in your absence. The common folk are nothing if not fervent in their religious beliefs. Perhaps if they speak freely to their gods, the clergy may know something of use. If we would know what the common folk speak of to their gods, we have no better place to ask than at the Church of Saint Adama Landama. It's a small and humble church found to the northwest of here. And so long as you're headed there, might I ask you to deliver this embalmed corpse? A morbid request I grant you, but it must be borne to burial. I trust none more than you to see it done. Seek out a man named Marquez. He tends the graves of the Lich Yard. He will tell you where a body is to be interred. I'm Marquez, yes. A body? Of course. There have been so many bodies of late. I apologize, sir. If you seek a place for burial, then there's an empty grave atop the ridge. Take the path and lay him to rest there. May they all walk in Father's realm. What, missing people? I'm afraid I cannot help you. But maybe Sister Urson can. She's been kind to me. Everyone. Everyone has been so kind. I don't know why though, Pardon me. We will find Sister Urson within the church walls. I hear you have done us the service of burying a fallen soul. Please accept our gratitude and extend it to Isambard when next you see him. You seek knowledge of missing drybone inhabitants? It's true I'm closer to the people than any other of the order. I confide in them, and they in me. When they wish to speak to their keeper, Thal, I am the medium through which they do. Should I learn anything pertinent, I will be sure to share the information with you. I only wish Marquez would be more helpful in the matter. I pray he did nothing to offend. He saw terrible things during the calamity. His scars run deep. Indeed, he seems to now prefer the company of the dead over the living. While tragic, I fear such behavior ill befits the church. I received word not long ago that one of our recent visitors, a man called Thancred, I believe, took offense at his conduct. I must have words with McKesson soon. Eh. Thank you, Wilt. A burial is no easy thing, even if a departed is a stranger. Were you able to learn aught of a missing common folk? You've been keeping yourself busy of late, haven't you? Hello, Thancred. A pleasure, my dear Isenbart. The name is Thancred, and I share a passion with you and our mutual friend here for learning what has become of these missing persons and why. I too spoke with Angast more times than I care to count. There seems to be some truth in this notion of a common folk speaking their secrets only to those in service to the gods. Protestations, prayer, penance. Abject deeds done behind closed doors, away from prying eyes. Who better to take the pious unaware than she who takes confession? The good sister Orson herself. Orson? She wouldn't. She couldn't. Even the most beautiful roses have thorns, my friend. And you'd be wise to keep an eye to this rose. Still, the Lich Keeper Marquez. I swear to the 12, I've seen that face elsewhere before. Sister Austin, it cannot be, though she is wont to travel to the Golden Bazaar on her own. It's not uncommon to see her speaking to the children, but no, it couldn't be she, could it? I grow wary of these suspicions. I know there's one child in particular that she's fond of. Pray seek out the boy, Wilt, and see if you cannot glean something from him about Orson's activities. Today is one of these days again where my CPU is just overworking for some reason. You can probably see some lags in the recording. Anyway, I'm now in the Golden Bazaar, which is a bit north of Camp Drybone. Please help, Sister Urchin went out all on her own. It hasn't come back. She always reads to me right here about Fowl and the Order and the other side. I told her I lost my shiny thing and she went looking for it. But whatever monster outside got her, please help, please find her. And a bit to the east is the sister. You have run from the church. Thank goodness you arrived when you did. It seems my gratitude is yours yet again. You spoke with a child? Yes, well, I was able to find his lost trinket. It's a ring given to him by his mother before she passed. I will see it safely back to him. And we return to Camp Drybone. Okay, yeah, I had to make the cut because I saw basically constant stutterings on the recordings, my recording software, so I hope it's no better. Sister Olsen was attacked outside the Golden Bazaar? God's forfend, I will secure a room at the inn for her should she require any rest. Searching for the mementos of orphans and risking her own well-being in doing so, no less? Certainly not the dastardly deeds Thancred would have us believe. Yes. I'm well glad I reserved that inn room for Sister Orson. It seems she received greater injuries from her attackers than she initially let on. Thankfully, she's expected to make a full recovery. But now on to the matter at hand. Thancred come looking for you once more. He left word that you'll be waiting at the Amalja encampment to the southeast. I pray the two of you are able to uncover some evidence regarding these disappearances. Hey, Thancred. How's it going? There you are, Wilt. So good of you to come. Indeed, I've heard all about good Sister Olsen. Isambard said her wounds were serious. It would seem my suspicions about the poor Rose were misplaced. But false though they were, perhaps my suspicions were not entirely without merit. Whilst following Sister Olsen near the Golden Bazaar, a band of Amalja caught my eye. I tracked them as far as this encampment, but, well, let's just say I would much prefer to keep my distance and remain here. This, of course, brings me to why I requested you, dear Wilt. Would you be so kind as to take a look inside? Why am I doing this alone? Hey, die. Seriously, Thancred, why am I doing this alone? Ignore me, please. Queer leaflet. Okay, and that out. I have what I needed. Would of course have been cool if the fate that is in here was actually running right now. That would be very fitting when I attacked the camp together with a soldier from the Immortal Flames here. Well, did anything tickle your fancy? A strange slip of parchment found at the Amalja encampment. This leaflet, see the wealth of null to the hands of your children. Looks to be some sort of assembly to provide the poor with work. The lettering, though, atrocious, is it not? And these bits about Naltas seem somewhat less than studied. I find it hard to believe one among the Order penned this. Pray take this to the inn at Camp Drybone. Let us see what Sister Orson makes of this. My savior comes again. To what do I owe the honor this day? What's this? Blasphemous! These are not our teachings at all. This was not made by any true brother or sister of the Order. Of that I can assure you. Come to think of it, weeks ago the church was plagued by missing garments. Could someone be posing as a priest of the Order to deceive the people? The plot thickens, Wield. Our culprit pretends to be a priest to lend credence to his deception. There's no doubt an irony in there somewhere. But I suspect we have a worthy adversary on our hands. I shall consider how best to handle this. For now, tell Isambard what we have learned here. Posing as a priest. To think, these troubling notions aside, it is gratifying to finally be able to move this investigation forward. Thank you once again, Wirt. I shall keep my eyes and ears open, now more than ever. I'm afraid I've not seen any unusual activity, nor of any at this camp give me cause to doubt them. But unless we can identify the culprit, and soon, more innocents will fall victim. Do not despair just yet, my friend. An idea occurred to me. Our suspect has been posing as a priest, using leaflets bearing false promises to lure the poor. Let Wield and me serve like with like by posing as impoverished souls in need of succor. I dare hope that this will yield us the answers we seek. It will be a dangerous undertaking, but you two are more than capable of looking after yourself. I'm next to useless in battle, but I can supply the garments for the disguise. These old tunics and slops should serve your needs, so long as you don't mind the smell and the stains. These will serve very well. You have my thanks. Listen, Wirt, so as to lay the foundation for our little ploy, we must make it widely known that more vagrants have arrived at camp and are desperate for coin. To this end, I want you to don the old garments Isambard has lent us and beg for work around the camp. Before long, the false priest should catch wind and approach us. And we got these garments here. Yeah, and my subalterns completely hide their pants. There you are. Another refugee by the looks of you. The immortal planes have neither work nor coin for your like. Be gone, and see to it you don't make a nuisance of yourself. I preach the teaching of Azima, the warden, has to come to partake of the honey of her wisdom. Azima is keeper of the sun and goddess of inquiry. All is laid bare beneath the light of her divine countenance. Open thy heart to this light, needy child, and thou shalt want for naught till the end of days. And I was just about to get to the good part. Looking for work, you say? Sorry, but we don't have any openings. Now get out of here so I can finish my story. Greetings, good sir. Is there aught I might assist you with? Oh, I don't believe there is. I'm afraid our wares are very expensive. Maybe should we join your fellows out of the pond north of Thancred? What is it? Gods, not again. Look, being poor doesn't give you the right to pester whomever you like. Why don't you keep your own kind out by that muddy pond of yours at Drybone? Muddy pond, huh? You have quite the knack for being a nuisance, Wilt. The camp is abuzz with talk of newly arrived dragons. And though we are unable to attract our wayward transgressor, we were able to learn that the poor have a commune by the pond north of Sandgate to the east of here. The eyes of the authorities do not reach that place, rather ideal for spiriting away helpless souls. Let us go there and wait for the kindly priest to come and offer us aid and comfort. Needless to say, you need to remain in disguise. Okay. A fine morning for catching false priests, wouldn't you say? You look absolutely smashing well, positively dressed for deception. All that's left then is to wait for our quarry to appear. Oh, you poor unfortunate souls. This is no way for man to live. No way at all. Who are you? What do you want? Be at ease, child, for I mean you no harm. I'm a priest of the Order of Naltal, and I come to offer you succor. This leaflet bears the teachings of Nalt. Trust to them, and they will surely set you free from the shackles of penury. A tempting offer, but I'm afraid I must decline. On account of that atrocious performance, you have made a god's awful mama, Angast. What? How did you... You bastards tricked me! Please don't hurt me. I was only doing it to protect my people. Is that so? Do continue. Very well. A man of a golden bazaar, raised there, if not born. Some moons ago, the Amalja raids began. They would appear sudden as a sandstorm and plunder and pillage at will. Our defenders couldn't stand against them, few as they were. Everyone lived in fear. I wanted to save my people, but being a merchant was all I knew, and so I did the only thing a merchant could. I approached the Amalja in hopes of brokering a deal. In return for sparing the Golden Bazaar, they made demands. Outrageous ones. Demands. And of what kind, pray tell? First of all, they wanted the schedule for crystal shipments from the Nanava mines. For this, I bribed one of the workers to leak me the information. Next, they wanted me to bring them people. So I posted a priest to lure the vulnerable and give them over to the Amalja. I didn't have a choice. Protecting one's home is a noble thing, but at the cost of innocence? You could have sought the aid of the immortal flames, yet you did not. I suspect you're not telling me the whole truth. What made you sell out your own people? Speak. What did you say? The coin was good, I said. I could sell mole meat for a score of lifetimes and not see even a fraction of what the Amalja pay me. You sacrificed innocence so that you could line your own pockets? What's fair to express the contempt I feel for you? Spare me your contempt. If you want to blame someone for the mess of the world's in, then blame yourself or the gods. Haha! Not you again. Were you the one leaking the immortal flames patrol routes to the enemy as well? Spit it out. No, I know nothing about that, I swear. At this stage, I'm rather disinclined to believe aught that leaves your mouth. But no matter, there'll be time enough to learn the truth. Well, to be a good man and take word of these developments to Minfilia, would you? I shall prize everything I can out of this filth. The Abductions are still somewhere out there. Our foremost priority is to rescue them. Welcome back, Red. I'm pleased that you and Thancred have been getting along. I say, you've done well to uncover the truth. My thanks for the report. As Thancred said, we must ascertain where the abductees were taken. And none but the Amalja know the answer. Suffice it to say, they will not willingly part with this information. I fear blood will be spilled before all is said and done. Okay. But I think I end the episode here. Until next time, when we continue here, I guess. I'm Mace, and don't get lost.